And tell me again, you guys moved from New York to California how many years ago?
I keep telling people we moved back last year, but we moved back 4 years ago.
Okay.
Time flies. We moved back when Liv, who's now 5.5, was just over 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Amazing.
has it gone by very fast. I'm actually headed back to New York tomorrow for a work trip, and I still, I don't know, I get so nostalgic when I go, but I feel like I just moved, and it's been quite a long time. So,
Yeah, I feel like time, and I'm only 2 years into parenthood, and I feel like time is so different as a parent.
yeah,
Like it's so fast.
it's
It's
so fast.
well, and somebody told me early on, they were like, the days are long and the months are short, and the years, obviously. And that's exactly it. Like there are some days we're in the thick of potty training, and I'm like,
Oh, I
this
feel you.
is this is gonna kill me. Like I can't do this. And then I'm like,
Oh,
but I can't believe she's two. It's such a weird thing.
it's such a weird thing. Oh, potty training. We just like a month ago potty trained our 2.5-year-old Benji.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it was so much harder than our daughter, who was like got it in 2 days. But it's intense.
Yeah.
Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, it really, yeah. And we're in the phase where like she caught on to everything really early. Like she's super obviously, I don't know how you feel, but like I'm like, oh, this is so humbling because I'm staring at a 2-year-old version of myself every day.
Yeah.
And so like she like is super independent, loves to like climb up there, sit on the potty, loves to wipe, loves to flush, but the nothing deposits into the toilet. And we've been
Yeah.
there for like probably at least 2 months. Well, she's
Lots of
gone.
Clorox wipes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I
Good
was joking
routine.
with somebody on a Zoom call yesterday because we have an old dog. Our dog is like 14 years old and has heart failure, and it's so sad. So between our 14-year-old dog who pees everywhere and our daughter who is peeing everywhere, I just feel like I'm like chief pee cleanup officer.
Wow. It's really rough.
It's so gross.
One day at a time.
Exactly. Ugh.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll do a quick intro for us
Okay.
and we'll just kick it off.
Cool.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to Get Mom Ready. I am here with Lindsay Swedick, who I met in college in New York City. Oh, Lindsay, were we just courageous and bold? Sometimes I miss the 18-year-old version of myself, just stomping around New York City. But
Same.
Yes. So Lindsay, I want you to share your story here in a minute. But one of the reasons I reached out to you, Lindsay, was because you have had quite the impressive career in startup, corporate life from New York to now Southern California. You are a mom of littles. And so I would just love for other moms to hear your story. That's what we're all about here at Get Mom Ready, is just helping moms navigate the tension of work and life and the integration of all of it. So, Lindsay, welcome to the show.
Holly, it's so fun to be here. Very much looking forward to this conversation. And yeah, I can't believe it's been, how long has it been? Like
Like 15 years,
15
I think.
years
Yeah, we're
since we
old.
were together in New York. Oh, I know.
Yeah,
I
well,
feel like I was just living there.
let's pick up there. So, we both graduated the same year. I was kind of a weird one because I technically finished my classes in December of 2010, but I walked in 2011. But you majored in politics, philosophy, and economics, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yes. So to
A
catch
bit of a
everybody up,
pivot.
we went to
Yeah.
a really nerdy school where we only had two majors. Well, I guess when we graduated, they had three at the time. But I was business. Lindsay, you were politics, philosophy, and economics, but then you've had a business career. So kind of take us from like graduation up until today, what your careers looked like.
Yeah, I will. Well, I'll give you the spark notes because working in startups, it's very different from my husband who works in education and has had two jobs.
Yes.
He's like a lifer. And I think I've had, I mean, if you count consulting, like over 10 roles. So
Yeah.
I will not go in too deep, but I actually, when I graduated, I was really passionate about women's rights work and love to travel and was thinking I would work in like humanitarian aid for my career. So my first job out of college was at a NGO based in Delhi called APNAAP, and it was an anti-trafficking organization. Just like a intense and rude awakening to both the realities of the world and
Man.
a really good primer for startup life and being an entrepreneur. Was not either of those things, but I was the only employee in the US. So I
Oh,
worked out of
wow.
a rented office in FiDi, and my boss was in India. And we would have like 2 a.m. Zoom calls all the time. And
Wow.
it was intense. I learned so much, both about just the nitty-gritty of what it takes to run a business. Like I was both helping draft donor communications and got to travel to India and got to interact with the women that we were serving, and a lot of very opposite of glamorous work, like setting up insurance and figuring out the taxes and figuring out payroll for myself. Like a lot,
Oh,
just kind of good training for what it actually takes to run a business behind the scenes. Um, I did that for 2 years. I was very burned out after
I can imagine.
a
Man.
year of being there, but just was intense from like an emotional perspective, and just the work was really intense. So from there, I went to Feed, where it was my longest stint. I was there over 5 years, and started as an executive assistant and left as the head of marketing. So that was really where I got to
Amazing.
try on a lot of hats and figure out how do I blend this really deep-seated like passion for making a difference in the world with what I kind of learned was something I was good at, which was more of the marketing business side of my brain. And Vita was a really great place to do that because it brought together a really important like social good aspect where we donated meals for every product that people purchased, and also got to work on a lot of really cool partnerships and marketing campaigns as part of that. And
Hmm.
then from Feed, I went to Lola, where I also worked on. That was my introduction into like a true startup, a venture-backed startup that is just
Yes.
a rocket ship of growth, and everybody's life is their job. And it was pre-COVID, so my first year we just lived at the office, and at the time in my like mid to late 20s, I really loved it. I didn't have kids.
Hmm.
I could just like fully lean in. I was learning so much, and it was just fun to be part of a startup that was kind of like in culture and was a early adopter in a space that is now super saturated, but at the time just felt like, oh, this is such a cool buzzy brand, and I did really love that. Um,
Hmm.
I was there through COVID, so post COVID things kind of shifted. We all worked from home. Unfortunately were a lot of layoffs at Lola, and I made it through that, but it just wasn't really the same after so much change. And so I stayed there through the birth of my first daughter, and then moved over to Coterie, which again was just really
Yes.
fun. Like at the very start of Coterie kind of coming onto the scene, and got to be part of like really building the foundations of that brand and thinking through like what do parents really want. And diaper brand, it's not what they had at the time. And I had a
Hmm.
4-month-old. My first day at Coterie was my first day back from mat leave with my
Oh, no way.
yeah. So it
Wow.
was I
So
was
you got
one of the
hired
target
during maternity
demographic.
leave? Like,
Yeah, I did. I made the pivot during my mat leave, which
that
is
is
a whole
amazing.
separate story and process. But it was
That's
great
so
because
cool.
I really felt like I was truly living and breathing what our customer was living and breathing, and
Yes.
didn't have to pretend or do much research at all.
Yeah.
That was also just like fastest growing startup, very stressful, very rewarding. Um, I didn't end up staying a super long time because my mentor from Lola, who I absolutely loved, who hired me, she had started at this health tech company called Calibrate, which at the time was the only company offering customers GLP-1 medications through
Oh,
tele.
wow.
So it was the only way
Okay.
to get them, and it at the time felt like a rocket ship. The industry obviously got super saturated and things shifted, but I went over to work with her because I just felt like our time wasn't fully ended. It got cut short at Lola with layoffs. So
Yeah.
with that Calibrate for 2.5 years, and there got to actually, it was my first experience with tech. So I don't, who knows? Never say never. I'm not as passionate about tech as I am about consumer products, but it was such a good learning opportunity. And there, I traditionally have been in brand marketing, but I got to do a lot of product marketing work, which was just
Yes.
interesting and different. And then while I was a calibrator, I had my second kid, Benji, who's now almost 3, so it was 3 years ago, and just kind of hit my, which I'm sure so many working moms can relate to, but really hit my ceiling on feeling like so burned out and overwhelmed with 2 little kids and a very intense leadership level role at a health tech company. And so I ended up
Hmm.
leaving to start my own consulting business, which I know
Hmm.
is also a common story. And I did that for almost a year. And then one of my clients convinced me to come in-house, and that was Parallel. So I'm back
Yes.
in-house, and I've been there for almost 2 years.
Amazing.
Yeah,
What a ride, Lindsay. What a ride. And
that was
what's
very
really,
long-winded. I'm
no, it
sorry.
wasn't. It was so, it's so cool because your story is so, what I love about it is you started with a really clear passion of finding purpose in your work, of getting to do that right out of college through the NGO, then into Seed, which was, I mean, what a cool bridge to be able to take all of that and put it into business.
Mhm.
And then from there with Lola and Coterie, which at the time were like no name brands that were at the forefront of, Lola for like feminine products and women's rights. And not only is that a passion of yours, but then becoming a mom and able to take all of that knowledge over into motherhood with Coterie, like you've been really on the and now you're in, wellness and supplements, and to be able to be on the forefront of like what women need, and therefore how do we tell that story and connect with them from a marketing perspective. You've been on the forefront of that over and over and over again, which is just so cool and such a unique perspective to have in the marketplace.
Yeah, it's been a gift. I can't say, I wish I could say that I designed all of that intentionally. I think looking back, there's definitely that thread. And I am pretty clear if I'm looking for a role or I'm interviewing, it sounds cliche, but I have to have that personal connection to the product. And I have to feel like there's a deeper purpose to the brand than selling people things.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can get muddy. Like at the end of the day, every business is in business to make money. So I think I have kind of taken off the rose-colored glasses of thinking that the business is here just to do good, but that element has to be there, or else I just am not really interested in spending 10 hours a day of my life building it. And so I do feel really fortunate that those opportunities have kind of come up at the moments where I have felt like, oh, I am this customer, or I have something in my personal life that I think I can really bring to this work that will fuel it. And that is a gift. I know a lot of people don't have that. So I feel really
Yeah.
grateful for that.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to dig in on the transition from well, okay, it was Calibrate, right? Where you had
Mhm.
Benji, and then deciding to leave to start your own consulting practice, and then starting at Parallel. Um, what were some of the underlying like symptoms or things that you were running into that made you finally decide, okay, it's time for me to leave corporate life and start my own consulting practice? Like how did you get to that decision and have the courage to do that?
Yes. I think I wish I had a more eloquent way of saying I was really burned out.
Yeah.
It just that is what it is. And at the time, it had just been like 6 months of not really seeing my kids. A lot of the company was just going through a really challenging transition as we were kind of squeezed from all sides with just what was happening in the marketplace. GLP-1s exploded, and all of a sudden, there's
Yeah.
both so much demand, so many competitors. On the brand side, my team's responsible for telling the story of what makes the company different. And I think every month we were changing like core positioning pillars to try to keep up with what was
Oh.
happening in the space. And, um, it was exhausting. There also were multiple rounds of layoffs, and I also supported on internal comms. And so that is, this, but that
Yes.
takes such a toll to have to be the one again and again to like craft the messaging for the team and make people feel safe. But really, are we safe? Am I like that was just
Yes.
a roller coaster of a time. So I think I felt like I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like
Mhm.
I don't, I've kind of lost the spark of what I have traditionally, I think historically I had that really drove my work, which is I love working. Like I love being a mom, but I genuinely really love what I do and I'm happy to put in the time. And I just hit a place where I was like every day felt like just pulling teeth like so hard.
Yes.
So I just felt like I needed a bit of a reset and also a moment to ask like, is this the trajectory that I want to go on? Do I want to do something totally different? So I just thought it would be a great opportunity to work in maybe like different industries, different spaces, and take on different types of projects. And
Mhm.
I had, thankfully, some really good examples of people that I had worked for in the past, like managers who had recently also pivoted into consulting, and they were so helpful. Like, I don't know that I would have done it had it not been for a few amazing, also working moms who coached me through it. And like, even from an admin perspective, like, here's how you set up your LLC, here's how you handle client billing, like, all of that was kind of handed to me and like a real act of generosity from some folks in my orbit. So that was really helpful. And I think gave me the confidence I needed. Like, if they can do this and I see it all laid out, like, I'll do it for 6 months. I'll try it. And if I don't like it, we can always reassess. Um,
Mhm.
and I think also that mentality of, I don't know if you feel this way, but I think early in my career, every career pivot was like
Oh,
so
yeah.
essential. Like I'm making
Huge.
a decision for the rest of my life that but I think, as you go on, you realize you can always change your mind. Like you can try
Yes.
something, you can do something new. If it doesn't, it might not work out. You might fail. And 3 years later, you will not even remember why it didn't work out or what.
1000%. Yes.
So I think I was also kind of nearing that realization of like, let's just try it. And it can't be harder than what we're experiencing in this moment. And it was
Mhm.
really, it was a great transition that I needed at the time to take a little bit of a breath.
Mhm.
I don't want to say that running a consulting practice is easy because there's the
Yeah.
flip side of having to, constantly find your next client. And I know a lot of your community is in that world too. So I definitely am not saying it was easy, but it was just a different type of pressure that felt like a relief from the pressure that I was under at Calibrate.
Totally, Lindsay. You just said that so you did say that eloquently. That was very eloquent because yeah, I mean, we have similar stories and it sounds like your Calibrate experience was similar to my software experience at a company called Leader. I was on the executive team and we raised our series A in 2022. We were growing 50% year over year. I mean, it was just like poof. And then SVB Bank imploded and we were dealing with lots of competitors in the market of like competing with like massive HR softwares that had added on things that were where we were like this tiny specialized product and they were these massive conglomerates that could easily whip up an add-on so the market got more competitive. And so, yeah, we had to go through several rounds of layoffs. And what I'm hearing in your story is that like it was feeling a lack of connection to that purpose that had driven you all the way to that point and then going, why am I even doing this? And for me, my role was eliminated but I mean, because I think I would have probably stayed for at least another year and tried to muscle through it and been miserable. And so
Mhm.
for me, it was like, well, that was humbling that my role was eliminated. I never thought I would be in that position as the
Yeah.
person who's like the workaholic and puts in all the hours and all the things. But it was the push that I needed to go, okay, if I'm and what you're saying, like, no, consulting and running your own business is not easy, but I get to own my calendar. The blood, sweat, and tears that I'm putting in are for me and not for someone else's dream. And that has been really rewarding for me in a season of similar, of we were just like, the goal, yeah, we were saying, you said like changing your pillars every month. We literally were forced to like our slide deck, our pitch deck had to be changed every month for our
Ugh,
board.
so brutal.
It's because then you don't even know what's working and what's not. Like, it's
Brutal.
like We've
Yeah.
changed 20 things. How in the world yet I'm supposed to show up to our board and tell you what's working and what's not? I have no idea because we've changed everything, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
So, yeah, the pressure, it's like, the pressure doesn't it's still there. The pressure is still there. It's just for yourself versus other people. Okay, so now I would love to hear, now that you're full time again, or you have been for a couple years now, I would love to hear, like, what are choices or things that you do different now that you, as a mom, like as a working mom now, through that season of burnout, owning your own business, and then choosing to go back into full time corporate life? What are decisions that you make now that are different than you made then, you know?
Yes, what a great question. And I think, gosh, I wish I could say I have pivoted
Well,
every
no. Yeah.
challenging dynamic. I have figured it out. I will just be honest and say, startup life and like any corporate job, if you're in a leadership level role, or even if you're not, if you have an intense job and you're a working parent, it just has a way of continuing to suck you in and in and in and in. And every day is kind of like a reset, I think. And so
Mm,
I don't know that there's some master, like these are the 6 ways that I've pivoted so that I feel like I have more balance. I don't have that. I will be honest and say I am also quite burned out right now. And I think the reframe for me from when I was at maybe earlier in my career to where I am now is just thinking about it in through the lens of seasons. Like
yes.
this is a hard season for me, and I'm very aware of that. I also know that it won't last forever. And I it's something about knowing that I will never be in a position again where I have 2 very small kids and the fastest growing company I've ever worked at and a team that is relying on me at the same time. I won't ever have that again. Like things will get hard in different ways, but it just is hard. It's just there's
Yes.
not never enough minutes in the day. And I think just accepting that, like I am going to be behind. I am going to feel like I'm failing as a mom and I'm failing as a leader and I'm failing as a wife and I'm failing as a friend. Like I think just knowing that there are things every day I can do, maybe in each of those arenas to show up. But as a whole, it just is a hard season. And
Mhm.
it's not going to be a hard season forever. Like I know I have a limit on this time. Like I can't do this forever. So
Yeah.
I would say it's more of like a mental reframe than any sort of discovery of like a new tool or a new system. Like I'm, taking it day by day. And
Yes.
some days I feel like a failure and some days I feel like I'm winning and those days could happen back to back.
Yeah. Yes. That
Yeah.
is so good. I love that though, a daily reframe. And I wonder too if, like, because of what you've been through, of all of the different seasons, you have that perspective to be like, yep, today I felt behind. Maybe tomorrow I will too, or maybe I won't. And it doesn't have to be these, massive swings. It can just be day by day. That's a really helpful mindset shift. That it's just day by day, you
Just day
know?
by day. We're
That's
all
all we
doing
can
our
do.
best.
Yes.
We are all doing our best. And at the end of the day, too, like it sounds cliche. I mean, if I were building my own thing like you, I would feel differently. But there is something of a realization that this is just a job. Like this isn't my company. I feel very
Mhm.
invested in this company doing well and in the people that I lead thriving. And also, it's just a job. And I
Yes.
think earlier in my career that those jobs I was so intertwined with them in terms of who I was. And it sounds cliche to say my identity, but it's true.
Mhm.
And I think, the last 6 years for all of us who have had jobs in the corporate world or especially startups, you realize like things shift on the company side too. Like people who
Yes.
perform very well get laid off or
Mhm.
roles change, vision for a company changes, and you will really, I think, be like negatively impacted if you're so wrapped up in I have to give 110% to this company for my own personal validation because the company's not going to do the same for you. And I think that's kind of been a
Yes.
hard lesson. So I want to give my very best. And also, when things don't go well, I've kind of lived through enough of this story where I
Mhm.
know truly in 10 years, I will probably not even remember the thing that's keeping me up tonight. And
Yes. Yeah.
everything will be fine. Like it will be okay.
That's so good. I've had to learn that identity piece too, so much. I mean, I think it's like it's a superpower to like I've often feel like I've cared way more than even the owner of the company. And when it's taken me those lessons to go, "Oh, that's not a good thing." And maybe it's that I actually didn't care more, but like they had it actually more in balance, realizing that this is just a company, even as the owner. And I was like trying to muscle my way to make this thing work and make it a part of my own identity, looking for that affirmation that I can achieve something or conquer something. And for
Yeah.
me, becoming a mom has just helped reprioritize that because I think it added to my identity in a way that was healthy for me to not put everything into my career, even though
It's a hard lesson to learn.
it's so humbling. It's a
Well, and
hard one.
I feel like I'm still learning all the time of the detangling of those two things of your identity and your work, but it's
Yeah,
an important journey to go on, I think.
absolutely. Yeah. What about okay, so you and Nick have been married for how long now? Has it been about 15,
Yeah.
14?
Yeah, almost
Yeah.
15 years, which is so wild.
And y'all made a big move from New York to California about 4
Mhm.
years ago.
Mhm.
So I would love to hear like when it comes to marriage or just like a partnership in general, how has your career, because yeah, you said this at the beginning, which I think is also so interesting. And even though my husband he's not in education, but he's in medical and he's been there, he's had his job for like 14 years, which I cannot imagine.
Yeah,
Like
cannot
what?
imagine.
So you've got like for us, it's like the way he's wired, he loves the steadiness and the stability of like a big organization and a very like recession proof industry. And I would probably get fired on day one. And I love the like startup entrepreneurial builder life. So yeah, I would love to just hear how you thought about like being a executive at startups and a mom and being in partnership and marriage. What does that look like for you and any lessons learned along the way that you want to share with our community?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm really thankful for our dynamic. I think, every in all of my friend groups and people that I work with, I know every partnership is so different. So, not saying that ours like better or worse, but I think for us it works really well in that there's a few things. One, I think we have had a really good foundation of operating as a team and knowing that like sometimes we fail at this, but for the most part, the foundation of how we operate is like we're on the same team
Yes.
and things might need to shift or move. We might have to recalibrate, but at the end of the day, like we're going in the same direction. And so I would say like that's kind of been the foundation, but we have definitely had some again, like coming back to the idea of seasons, like different seasons and how we operate together. Nick works in education. He did take 3 years off to be home with our kids when
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that was a gift. And I
Ah,
think during those 3 years, it was when I was at Calibrate and like had my first kind of VP level roles and work had always been intense, but it had gotten like really intense. And obviously we had our first kid and we had just moved and to have just like the a little bit of margin that having somebody at home gives,
yeah.
that's invaluable. And I feel both so passionately about loving my work and wanting to be a mom. And also, I really, really understand if you can do it, why parents choose to stay home because it
Yes.
is so hard to have two working parents that have intense jobs and have kids. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything harder. So, um, it was a gift that he was able to do that for those few years. And also, he has such a close relationship with our kids because of that. Like
Mm.
I think for me as a mom, there definitely have been moments of like, I feel like I'm not the mom in this family. Like he was definitely the primary parent for a few years when he was home.
Mhm.
And so that kind of came with its own grapplings for me. But at the end of the day, I was really, really grateful that he was able to do that.
Yeah.
And then he just actually went back full time a year and a half ago. So it hasn't even been that long, but he is now full time as a dean of students at a school and coaches basketball. So he has quite a demanding career himself. And we had a bit of a rocky re-entry into that. I was like, whoa, wait, like who's doing all of these things that you used to do? And I think something that's been really helpful for us is we now, through that, we kind of learned what we needed to operate. The thing that we live and die by is we have a Sunday meeting where we bring, like, I have a huge desk calendar that's massive. We bring our laptops and we talk through like the week ahead, the month ahead, and the next 6 months. And it's also a time where we check in on, like, we both noticed this thing about our kids' behavior this week. Like, we really hold that time as sacred time to connect about things that are really important to communicate about, but maybe we wouldn't have time to bring up on a Tuesday while we're making lunch. But I think
Yes.
that has been really helpful in maybe surfacing things that otherwise would turn into resentment with two working parents.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then I think the other thing I'd say is we're kind of constantly having to reevaluate what works for us. Like right now, Nick is on summer break, which is amazing. And so there's a little bit more of a like, whew, okay, we don't have to spend so much time every week coordinating childcare and figuring out dinners and all of that because he can do some of that. In the fall, that will shift and we'll both have to adjust. So I think it is just like that space to make sure every week we can come together and really get on the same page about the day to day that helps us not lose our minds.
That is awesome. I love hearing you say that because that's something that my husband and I have talked about, but we have not yet instituted. So talk to me more, like I want to hear like more tactically, like is it Sunday night? Is it after the kids go down? Do you get a sitter or are the kids playing while you're having
Yeah,
your
it's
meeting?
Sunday
Like
night
what does that
after
look like?
bedtime. Yeah.
Okay. And
So
then do you like get takeout or tell me everything? I want to hear all.
yeah. Oh, you know what? We should bring something fun into that meeting. Maybe we'll start doing like a treat or something. No, we just kind of know like kids go down and the first person out of the bedroom is like going to get their planner and we just meet on the couch. Like we don't even say, "Are we doing it?" It's just
It's
very
what
much
you're doing.
in. Um, and we've tried other times like Sunday night just it's more of a practical thing. Like I don't want the kids
Mhm.
around for that because I really want us to be able to be present and focused.
Mhm.
Um, but and also it's helpful to go into the week knowing, like waking up on Monday morning knowing like I just looked at the calendar. I'm not feeling unsure about what's going to happen today or this week. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we like literally I bring I have it right here next to me. It's huge. Like my
That's awesome. Yeah.
3 by 3 massive desk calendar, and I'll sit on the floor of our living room. And Nick has his, digital calendar up, and we'll bring things like whatever mail we got that week of like wedding invites or just kind of things that pile
Yes.
up. And then we'll also bring our calendars for the week. We'll talk through anything we need to communicate to our nanny or our grandparents that help or anything like that, and then we'll send those texts out that night together so it's not like
That's
over
awesome.
us.
Yes.
So for me, I think it was leading to a lot of tension where our personalities are so different. I
Mm.
am really wired to be productive and squeeze as much into a day as possible.
Yep.
You can relate to. And Nick is very much wired to be like effective, but for him, that means like maybe one thing happens today and I do it well. And for me, that means let's do 10 things and do them like 75%, but we'll get more
Yeah.
done.
Yes.
It really has over the years like led to a lot of stress. I think when you add kids in, then it just takes it to a whole nother level. I
Yes.
think there were a lot of assumptions on both of our sides of like what the day was going to look like or the week was going to look like that if we don't like be really explicit and say out loud, this is important to me, or I have to do these things. Here's what it means for you. Here's what it means for the kids. Like it just always leads to challenging moments.
Mhm.
So, that's been really helpful for us.
Yes, so good. Ugh, you've inspired me to, like, actually put that on the calendar. We've been where we're just, like, so tired. It's like, okay, she's in bed. We wanted to, like, eat dinner and watch a show, and then, like, pulling out calendars after
Oh,
that
I
is,
know, it's
'cause we're still in the season where, like, she eats, then we put her down, and then we eat.
and then you eat, okay.
But anyway, yeah, so, like, figuring out how to but, like, yeah, maybe we could, have DoorDash ordered to where, like, it gets there, so we're not even, like, sitting on the couch. It's like, we're gonna sit at the table and eat and have our meeting before we
Yeah.
go into, like, because once I'm on the couch watching a show, there's no going back. Like, I'm
And
like,
you do
"And
need
I'm
that
done."
too. You need that. And maybe Sunday night is not the best time for everyone. Like, some people just really need to decompress before an intense week starts.
But
But
it's so true to, like, because, yeah, I and a lot of, like, my company, the Ready Network, I talk a lot about, like, that Sunday we even at Get Mom Ready, we send out a Sunday reset email because there's
I love that.
something to that Sunday night, like, overcoming those Sunday scaries where you're starting to feel the anxiety or the stress rise. But what we can control is being intentional about what's coming and, communicating with our partner and, getting our brain space in what's coming that week so we're not rolling into Monday, you know,
Yeah.
being reactive of everything coming at us. So I love that rhythm that you guys have done together. That's awesome.
Thank you. Highly
Okay.
recommend.
Anything else that you would say as a executive working mom? I think one of the things I sent this to you in a voice message as we were like preparing for this conversation, but one of the things that I felt and still feel this to some extent as an entrepreneur, but less so, but as in that C-suite role, or VP, whatever, the title doesn't matter, on the executive team of a fast-growing startup where you're like, oh, like you were just saying, like, I'm having to literally craft the language for our layoffs that we're doing. And then I'm expected to show up with joy at bedtime, and like the juxtaposition of that can feel, yes, exhausting, overwhelming, stressful, but I also just struggled to connect with other girlfriends who weren't in that position. And neither is better or worse, but to be able to have folks that I could talk to of like, this is so hard or so frustrating, or I don't agree with our CEO who made this decision, but then I'm expected to execute it and then like feel like I'm happy go lucky with my daughter during bath time. Like it's
Yeah.
the so anyway, would just love to hear any other thoughts or advice or learnings that you have for moms who might be in that position and are like hearing this being like, yes, that's where I am right now.
Yeah. I know. I loved hearing you say that in your voice note. I do think there's a unique kind of feeling of loneliness sometimes when you're in this position. And again, not to say like we have both had every role like coming up. And then every time in our career, I'm sure you and I both felt like I couldn't be working harder. I'm so stressed. Like
Yes.
I don't want to belittle that at all. That is hard, that every role can come with some real pressure. And also, it is, to your point, can feel like it requires a great amount of cognitive dissonance to operate in this like two pieces of me world where you at some point in your day have to shift from one version of yourself to another and be a leader in both and really like fully present in both. And sometimes those two versions of yourself just feel like polar opposites in any given day of like what's required of you. And that can feel really exhausting. And also I think lonely, like I agree with you. I don't there's a few people in my life, like I could less than 5, like less than a handful that I
Mm-hmm.
think really do understand
Mm-hmm.
the pressure of my work and my parenthood. And even people that I work with who don't have
Mm-hmm.
kids or maybe have older kids,
Mm-hmm.
we have such different realities when we have a really stressful day and we sign off. And I think friends that also have, working or not working, like don't fully understand not just the amount of work or like the time, but the pressure of like big decisions that are on you. Yeah,
Yes.
I definitely relate to that. And even my husband, who I love and adore and has watched my career, like, I don't even bother explaining. Like, it would take so long to explain my day that I just don't. And maybe that's not healthy. Maybe I should do that. But I think so many days I go to bed being like, nobody will ever know how hard this day was
Yes.
as a leader on my team and as a mom. And there's nobody that I could even like explain it to.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I do feel you on that. And I wish I had a solution or like a wise piece of advice. I think the only thing that has been helpful for me is this idea of like in that there's this pull to feel like the mom guilt conversation comes up.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I did have a really helpful reframe on that a few months ago. I listened to a podcast interview um, with Emma Greed and Dr. Becky.
Yes.
I don't know, think what you want about them, but I find it really helpful to
Yeah.
listen to that show. And there was this whole episode about mom guilt, and Dr. Becky had this amazing reframe of like, guilt is when your actions don't align to your values. Like that is feeling.
Ooh.
And we use this word mom guilt, and maybe for some people that's true, but for me, it's actually in my values to model for my kids, especially my daughter, what it looks like to have a mom who can do hard things or who can be a leader in a business or in an institution and a leader in her family. And there's like so many things about how I'm choosing to organize my life that actually do align with my values. So when I run into these like negative emotions in the transition from work to maybe I only have 20 minutes at bedtime or whatever that is. I think just kind of pinpointing like what is the actual feeling? It's not guilt. Like I don't feel guilty about how I've chosen to organize my life. I'm actually really proud of that. Like that does align with my values. I think the emotion is probably more like stress or anxiety that I'm not going to have what it takes for the next thing and like creating stories about will I have what it takes as this continues, or maybe it's just exhaustion and or frustration, or maybe it's me like taking on someone else's emotions that aren't mine to take, like my
Yes. Oh,
um
that's what I do.
yeah, which I was like, I feel like you and I are the same person because
I
that's
know,
that is
Lindsay.
like my biggest struggle is like if I'm feeling really stressed or there's a lot going on, this realization that it's not my job. Like it's okay for my kids to feel sad that I'm on a work trip, but I'm not there. It's okay for my husband to feel stressed because more is on him. And also those aren't my emotions. So I think that is like mom guilt is this word that gets used to take on all of that. And that has been a helpful reframe for me. Like, I'm not guilty about this. I just need to understand like what is my responsibility and what is not, and like do my best to show up in a present, joyful way, whether it's with my team or my kids through that, and know that it is hard.
Yes. Oh, Lindsay, that was gold. So good. I gave a keynote last week at a conference, and this gentleman came up to me afterwards, and because I mentioned that, my daughter from stage, and he came up to me afterwards and was like, "Hey, great job." And I was like, "Hey, thanks." And he was like, "How did your toddler do last night?" And I was like, "What? Like, would you go up to a working dad who just gave a keynote and ask how
No,
his toddler
definitely
did?
not.
You would not." And so it's in those moments that actually like fuels me because I'm
Yeah.
like, and whenever I do feel those feelings of mom guilt, I go, how would I want Iris to respond? Like I think about Iris at my age and my situation,
Yeah.
I would want her to feel. And then that helps me too. Like what you're saying, it's like, no, this is aligned with my values. I want Iris to see a mom who can get on stage even when she's nervous and give a
Yeah.
presentation that helps people. Like I want her to, see that her dad is full. And that's how I responded to this guy. I was like, yeah, her dad's very capable. Like, it's like um,
For you.
who has a dad who can take great care of her, probably better than me most times. And like,
Because you want her to have that one day. You want her to have
exactly.
those ideas about what a partnership looks like. That's not a martyr mom trying to do it all.
Exactly. That yes. And so I love what you said about like, and that we talk a lot about on Get Mom Ready about like taking the, and I am so glad we talk about this because I need the reminder every day to like do the work to identify what our values are so that we can hold ourselves accountable to them, even in those moments when we are feeling this like big, vague term of mom guilt. To what you said, like anchor ourselves back in, wait a second, what are my values? Does this align? Yes. Then what am I actually feeling? Oh, that's so good. What a good exercise. I love it. Okay, my last, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Lindsay. What?
I'm just gonna say one day at a time. Like
One day at a time.
some
Exactly.
days
That'll
we
be
get it, some days we don't.
yes, exactly. That can be the title of this podcast. One day at a time. Okay, my last question is a fun one
Okay.
because and so this is what's so cool about the work that you're doing is I didn't even realize, and am I saying it correctly? Is it parallel? You said it at the
Yeah,
beginning.
parallel.
Okay, parallel. Okay. I didn't even realize that you worked there until later, but I was getting these Instagram ads with Mandy Moore because I'm like obsessed with Mandy Moore. Like something went around the other day. She like recently did a performance where she sang Only Hope, it was like a throwback. And I'm like, I sang that 8th grade graduation. My brother played the
Oh, what a
guitar.
throwback.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I love Mandy Moore and also what an awesome working mom. But anyway, so my question is, have you gotten to meet her as a part of your work with Parallel?
Oh, I love this question. Yes, I did get to meet her. She's very nice. She's so kind. She's like a dream celebrity to work with. Like she's gone above and beyond her deliverables for Parallel. Like she'll just,
So cool.
yeah, if we'll send her something, she'll just post, even if we're not paying her to do it.
What?
And she's very kind. So, yes, I am a big fan of her
That's
as a
awesome.
person.
So cool. I wanted to make sure I got to ask you that question. It's like, that's so fun. 'Cause I feel like she's all over my feed. Like Parallel is all over my feed. Mandy Moore, Parallel. I'm like,
Oh, I love it. Okay. I'll
yeah.
let the team know. Something's
Yeah.
working.
Which, while we're here, as the leader of the marketing and brand team for Parallel, tell people about where, because like the listeners of Get Mom Ready are like prime target audience. I
Yeah.
need to buy. I was just looking at on the website where it's like your summer glow, the science backed summer glow. I'm like, I need that, so I need to go buy my own Parallel. But yeah, tell people about it and where we can get it. And where should we start if we've never bought anything from Parallel?
Okay.
Where should we
Yes.
start?
Good question. Okay, well, in case if anyone doesn't know, Parallel is the first and only OBGYN founded vitamin company. So all of our formulations actually are built by doctors who like, know women's bodies inside and out. And it started as a prenatal company. So like really kind of core business is around conception, like trying to conceive through pregnancy and postpartum. But it's has really grown into more of a women's health brand in the last few years. And the products that I am obsessed with and I highly recommend are the Summer Glow that you're talking about is our hydration powder that has collagen in it
Mm,
and hyaluronic acid. And so it's actually really great for your skin. So you get that glow from the inside out. And
perfect.
the campaign that we're working on right now is our first limited edition flavor on that. So it's a watermelon mint flavor for the summer.
Yes, that's what I keep getting the ads about. It looks
Yes, it's
so.
very fun. The campaigns was so fun. We got to play with a lot of like we did a lot of video shoots for this one that's like squishing a watermelon or we're
Yes,
really
very
leaning into the
summer.
summer vibes. And then the other product that I'm obsessed with that I tell everyone about is our protein powder, which also has great
Oh,
fiber in it. And
awesome.
it tastes so good. It's this creamy vanilla, and I drink it every day in my smoothie. So those two I would
Perfect.
highly recommend. But it's on Instagram as Parallel Health, and
Mhm.
you can hop over to our website from there. But our website's also parallelhealth.com.
Yes, I'm gonna have to tell Meredith about because Meredith is our one of our co-hosts who is a nutritionist, and she is
Oh, love.
huge advocate for protein powder. So she'll have to
I
try
want
it.
her take. Yeah. She'll
Yeah.
have to let me know what she thinks.
That's awesome,
Um,
Lindsay. Well, hey, I know that it is early on Pacific Coast time. So thank you so much for spending time with us this early. And now, hey, girlfriend, always send me a voice memo, a text. I'm here for you on those days where you like can't even explain. You can just be like, hey, had to
oh,
fire
thank
somebody
you,
today. And
Holly.
I'll be like, I get it. It sucks. You
Same.
got this. So,
I love this. I'm so, so happy to have this conversation with you and just sit with somebody who does really get it. And
same.
yeah, I mean, it feels so lonely to be in that spot where you feel like I must be doing this wrong. No one else is going through this. And it's helpful to
Mhm.
hear, like, no, you're
We are.
you are, we are, and you can do it. And
Exactly.
one day we will look back and think like, wow, we did that. That was
Mm.
pretty impressive.
Exactly. It is impressive. Well, thanks everybody for listening to Get Mom Ready. Make sure you head over to getmomready.com, subscribe so that you can get today's show notes, all of the links, and make sure where you can stay in touch with Parallel and with Lindsay. Thanks again, Lindsay, for being here. And we'll see everybody next time on Get Mom Ready.
Thanks, Ollie.